You are now listening to WSN Wolf Sports Network, live from the University of West Georgia in Carrollton, now an Odyssey station.
Live from Carrollton, Georgia, this is Sports Pack.
Home of the hottest takes and the best interviews in college radio.
Hold on, wait a minute. We need a little more energy. This is Sports Pack. Yeah, there we go.
Home of the hottest takes and debates.
There is no way I'm going to sit here and roll with Jared Stidham and Aiden O'Connell.
Richard.
There's just no way.
And the best interviews in college radio.
This is five-time Olympic medalist Alana Myers-Taylor.
This is Super Bowl champion quarterback Brad Johnson, and you're listening to Sports Pack on the Wolf Sports Network.
And the Wolves play here.
What is up, everybody? And welcome to another fantastic Monday edition of Sports Pack. I am your host, Richard Reed, joined today by Carly Pear, John Howley.
Hey.
And I know you might see this missing chair and be like, well, dang, where's Jackson? Jackson Schrader's not with us right now today. It's kind of sound like he passed away. He's not. He didn't. He's very fine. He was at the studio earlier. But he got some personal things going on right now, so Jackson will not be on the show. But we got another few great guests coming on. Our guy Lim, as always, is coming on for our basketball segment. And at the end of the show, our guy Michael will be taking us home as we discuss the Torpedo bat controversy that has taken over the MLB and taken the sports world by storm. But that's not the only thing we're talking about. You know, we still got to talk about this March Madness tournament as we are down to our final four teams after a great weekend of college basketball on the women's and men's side. Last women's Final Four game is tonight. We're going to talk about that as well. Before we get started, you know we got to talk some UWG sports.
Is Widener rolls to the right. He's got some time. Everybody's down at the end zone. He heaves it. And it is caught for a touchdown.
We are one. Go Wolves.
Now, you know, it wasn't our best weekend this past weekend. Our baseball team had a pretty interesting week. First taking on the Georgia Bulldogs last Tuesday on the 25th. Then they were the number 3 team in the nation. The Bulldogs are now the number 1 team in the nation.
Wait,
Dropped to them.
are?
Yeah, they
I did
just
not
got moved
know
up
that.
today to the number 1 team in the country. We lost to them 13-6, but it's all right. I mean, you're going up against the best program in college baseball right now. You know, that's a game you expect to lose, but they put up a great fight. But then this weekend, we had another home ASUN conference series where we took on Stetson and ended up getting swept, losing the first game Friday night 8-6. The next game Saturday afternoon 11-2, and then rounding out that series Saturday evening, losing 11-6. It was a very ugly series. It's not really what we wanted, especially coming off a big-time sweep against Florida Gulf Coast. We're really expecting to keep riding that high, but Stetson came in and disappointed us. John, I want to start with you. Where are a few places that we came up short in the Stetson series?
I mean, of course, other than the obvious thing, we didn't score more. It's more so that, like, I want to say one thing. Stetson's a very good team. They just before playing us, they played a bigger opponent. They beat Miami out of the ACC.
You serious?
Yep, beat Miami 11-2.
Oh my
God.
goodness.
And so, first off, it's like, whoa, like that's a very good
Stetson,
team.
so Stetson can ball.
Yeah, Stetson can ball. And it just came down. I say the first game was a lot closer. The pitching wasn't bad at all, and our bats were somewhat there. But it just came down to being like that close game. You're like, oh, okay, you know what? We're competing with these guys.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I think bit us the most was bullpen and just the second game, 11-2. Stetson had 15 hits and we had 10. The bats were there, but we cannot score. I guess we must right now be struggling with runners in scoring position. And it's not been good for, as great as this baseball team is, it's just not been a good stretch for them recently. Heck, we've even been memed on Instagram against Georgia. I don't know if y'all seen it, but
No, I didn't see it.
So one of the Georgia players absolutely slugged a home run, and the commentators called out our left fielder for not even giving like a courtesy jog. He just stood there the whole time, and it's actually gone pretty decently viral in the baseball world, and it's just not been good for them. And it just came down, I think, for the third game to being that bullpen-ish game. I mean, we went through 4 pitchers, and it just the Stetson, I think, is probably a team we probably thought, hey, we're gonna be better than these guys. We got caught off guard.
That
Simple
seems
as
like
that.
a team that might be able to win the ASUN. So can you go back to that one stat you pulled up? You said we had 10 hits compared to their 15. It had how many runs to show for it?
Oh, 2.
2 runs on 10 hits.
And Stetson had 11.
See, that right there is huge in baseball. Leaving runners stranded on base is huge because when you have your bats going, you have runners in scoring position, you have to find a way to bring those guys in. 10 hits in a game with only 2 runs to score for it. I mean, I hate to say it this way, but I mean, it's utterly ridiculous. You cannot have those sorts of things happen. I understand Stetson is a really good program, but like you said, John, 10 hits in that 11-2 loss, and also had a very good showing in the first game, only losing to them 8-6.
Yeah.
So this is obviously a West Georgia baseball team that can get this kind of stuff done. We just got to see those things fixed. Their upcoming series this weekend is on the road in Jacksonville, Florida, taking on the University of North Florida, with that series starting Friday, 1 game on Saturday, and ending it out on Sunday.
Yeah, it was 11 left on base that one game. Just
11 people stranded on base. I know what Coach is talking about this week.
Oh.
I know exactly what Coach is talking about. You got to bring those runners in because
Coach,
those are
let's
the
get some
winning
new
runs.
bats in. Let's get some new bats in, Coach.
Dude, that right there is insane. Now let's pivot to our softball team, who also had a bit of a rough week last week, getting swept by Florida Gulf Coast, losing the first game 8 runs to none, losing the second game 9-7, and losing the last game in a very close, disappointing Saturday morning loss 4-3. Carly, what are your takeaways from this?
I mean, over the whole weekend, we allowed 21 runs total. I mean, and same thing with our baseball team as well, allowing 30 runs total over the whole weekend as well. That
I don't want to hear that.
that cannot happen. That's on average 10 every day, and just it's not good. Like, you can't, like Richard said, we can't be leaving people on base. We got to get them home. And I think there just needs to be a little bit more strategy in our lineup so we can get those people home, and also work on those pitching little kinks and just work those out.
Yeah, what I'm looking at here is just like it's coming down to pitching. I mean, for the starting pitcher, Samuel, you have 10 hits and then 7 earned runs, but you walk 2 and you only strike out 1. That's huge.
Yeah.
In softball, you're wanting to strike out because this field's a lot shorter, and once you're more than likely your number 1 leadoff spot is going to be one of your fastest players or either your slug hitter. A great example would be Audrey Vandergriff over at Alabama. Younger sibling of Brock Vandergriff for Alabama. She's in the one hole. She's a freak athlete, leads the nation in stolen bases, and she's insane. She can lead off and hit anything. That's the one thing. Like, when you have stuff like that come up against teams like this, then you get those 1 innings where you're losing inning by inning by inning. That's what's really killing you. And pitching is such a huge thing, and really it just comes down to, can we get our pitches controlled?
Right. John, you just hit the nail on the head. I have nothing to add. That was magnificent. This guy, John, is a softball guru. Come see him if you got any questions. But like I was saying, these games are still very close. Outside of the first game against Florida Gulf Coast, losing 8-0. Second game, 9-7, losing by 2 runs. The last game, Saturday morning, losing 4-3. These are very close games. So like you're saying, Carly, small tweaks here and there with our softball team and our baseball team can really go a long way with turning these losses into wins. So I'm really interested in seeing how the rest of the season develops, because these are talented teams that, like you just said, with the correct adjustments, could really turn their season around. Now, if you didn't know, I'm going to tell you right now, this upcoming weekend, we have a big-time track meet here at the University of West Georgia, our one and only UWG Legends Invitational. Your only chance to see our track team live in action in their outdoor season here on campus. If you're not around, find a way to be around. If you plan on going home this weekend, see if you can shift your schedule. Because this Friday and Saturday, our track meets are, it'll be all day. Our track team will be out here performing. Be sure to go out and check them out. We got a whole lot of brand new runners out here. It's our second year having a men's track and field team. Our women's team is good just about every year. There are a lot of good runners and good people in great events that will be out here showing up and showing out. Be sure to show them some love, because they have been shattering records every single meet.
I've been excited to see how they've been going out there, and they're competing with big dogs out there, and we're kind of neck and neck with them. We're not saying like, oh, we're new, we're gonna be here. Like you said, we're shattering the records, and we're showing that, hey, like we're gonna establish a team here, and we're gonna be great.
Exactly, and if you're thinking about it, I'm not really sure how the weather's going to be this weekend. Actually, no, it's going to be pretty warm outside.
So
I feel like it's a good time to put the
be
hoodies
a very
away.
Warm week.
Exactly, this is going to be a very warm week. Now that these storms have moved through, actually, I hope all of you were able to stay safe during those storms. I know it got really ugly earlier.
I jumped out of my seat.
Yeah, that lightning was loud. But nonetheless, it's going to be warmer this week. I'm seeing Friday is supposed to be 85 degrees. So if you're out there at the track meet, you're not going to want to bring out your favorite hoodie. It's a little too warm for that. Maybe save that for next week when the temperature drops again. But if you want to debut a new shirt for this once a year track meet,
what could that be?
Go to wolfsportsnetwork.com, click about, and press merch store, so you can see all the fantastic merchandise options that we have for you. Maybe you want a new shirt like I just mentioned for the track meet, or maybe you want a nice trucker hat like our guy John has on right here, or another type of hat. All sorts of spring wear, anything you could imagine is available for you right there. Once again, go to wolfsportsnetwork.com, click about, and hit merch store. Whatever you need on there is there. And look, if you don't see what you want, give us a follow on Instagram at Wolf Sports Network and shoot us a DM, and we just might throw in that item that you're missing. Now, let's talk some sports news.
The Dodgers introducing Shohei Ohtani after signing him to a record-breaking contract.
Nick Saban is retiring.
Breaking news on Sports Pad. So we are less than a year out from the Winter Olympics in 2026 that are going to be in Italy. Super excited for that. But right now we have our qualifiers and other world titles going on right now. First off, we have Alyssa Liu. She is the first figure skater that won the world championship by an American woman since 2006. So the Americans, we're getting back on top. Really excited for that. And I really like watching figure skating. I think it's a super cool sport to watch.
Very, very intricate sport, and it's very it's a lot of focus because one simple mistake, you're done. It can cost you the whole thing. And obviously to be on the top, since 2006, I think that's awesome. It's great to see.
Yeah, figure skating is something I couldn't even imagine doing. It's so fun to watch.
You're not going to catch me out there figure skating.
Yeah. Dude, it's so fun to watch. It's very interesting. It's a very elaborate sport. I can barely do regular ice skating. Every now and again, once a year, Atlantic Station has a little ice skating rink down there.
That's why you stay to skiing, right?
Every now and again, I like to go out there and dip my toe in the water. I'm a pretty good roller skater, so I was like, you know what, figure skating, I could do it.
Yeah,
I can't. Just plain and simple, I can't do it. Like you said, John. Now skiing, what is it? Skiing, they call me the black blur.
Yes, sir.
Tennis, I'm a dog.
Yep.
Golf, 100% black Tiger Woods. I mean, I get it done. I get it done in every single sport. But figure skating ain't my thing, man.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it to girls like that. They're out there dominating.
All right. Well, what else? Snowboarding. We also had our world championships that also qualified some of these athletes for, they punched their ticket to compete in the Olympics next year. So, she's been pretty popular, but Chloe Kim, she's an American snowboarder, and I mean, she is incredible. She just won gold in the World Championships, and she did punch her ticket in representing America next year. So, I mean, I love the Winter Olympics. I love watching winter sports, especially the half pipe, because
that junk is awesome.
You see these athletes start at the top, and it doesn't look like the half pipe is tilted, but it is very much at a tilt.
It's banked big time.
And, it is massive. It doesn't look big, but
sorry,
whatever. Anyways.
I mean, snowboarding is very impressive to see what they do. I remember growing up seeing X Games and everything, and really it's cool to see, and really snowboarding's what I pay attention to in the Olympics, or Winter Olympics at least.
Yeah,
the jokes write themselves, Carly.
Yeah.
But the Winter Olympics is awesome. And then John's sitting here he just pulled up a video of some people snowboarding right here.
Actually, Chloe Kim.
Yeah, it is Chloe Kim. I just realized when she took off the ski mask and everything, because that's what I was going to mention. Skiing, snowboarding, all of that is awesome. I love watching the Winter Olympics because, being here from Georgia, I've never really branched out. I've never just seen anything like this in action. But, dude, their fits are so tough all the time. They got on the matching, I don't know what they call them. I don't want to just call it a coat and thick pants, but that's what it looks like. They have on the
snow pants.
Yeah, they have on the snow pants and everything. Yeah. They're still slim. They fit right. They got the ski mask on and put on the big goggles. Dude, I freaking love snowboarding. I want to go to Colorado to a resort just to dress up and get fly. And I want to take some nice pictures for Instagram because I'm not going down the hill. I'm not doing it.
Hey, there you go. You got Copper Mountain. I love Copper Mountain. I've been there. It's super fun. But yeah, Winter Olympics. But shifting gears, I know a lot of us are missing football right now. The UFL, the United Football League season has just kicked off over the weekend, and their scoring is a little bit different. So when you do go and look up the scores, it is going to be a little different. You have a 31-6 game, you have a 9-33 game, a 26-12, 11-18. So their scoring is a little bit different, but it is super cool. Also, about 2 hours away, we do have a local UFL team, the Birmingham Stallions, which they did lose over the weekend. However, last year they were really good.
Yeah, they were.
So I'm really excited to watch this UFL season and kind of see how things shift and change and what teams are looking really good.
Yeah, the UFL is really cool because you see a lot of familiar faces that we may have forgotten about from college football, like early on in NFL careers. Like Matt Corral's a quarterback for one of these teams out here.
He's not even starting.
Right? He's not?
Nope. Actually, I don't even know how to say his last name, but for the team, yeah, he got benched this year.
Dang, I really love Matt Corral. He was really good coming out of Ole Miss. Had that terrible injury in the bowl game at the end of their season. But then you got a guy, fan favorite from people out there in Athens that are big-time Georgia football fans. Rodrigo Hot Rod Blankenship is the starting kicker for the St. Louis Battlehawks.
Yes, sir.
It's been amazing to see him be able to get back out there. Hope to see him in the NFL very soon. And even guys like Puka Nacua, star wide receiver from the LA Rams. He has two brothers playing for the same team in the UFL. One's a wide receiver, and the other one is a corner, and they both scored touchdowns in week 1. The corner obviously getting a pick 6. So, I mean, it's very interesting to see the UFL. It gives a lot of people a second chance. People like the guy, Cavante Turpin for the Dallas Cowboys, just got that extension. He came up through, before it was actually the UFL, he was the XFL MVP, but the XFL merged with the other football league whose name I can't remember to create the UFL.
The USFL.
The USFL. They
Yeah.
merged to create the UFL. But you have these people getting great opportunities to revive their football careers and get another shot at the NFL from competing in this area. Even guys like Destroying. I don't know if you know the story of Destroying, but he started a YouTube channel when he was a kicker at UCF years and years ago, probably around like 2016, 2017. Now it's been a long time. And this is pre-NIL and things of that nature. And the head coach for UCF basically gave him an ultimatum. Say you either delete your YouTube channel and continue to play for this team, or you're off of this team. And he decided, you know what, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to keep going with my YouTube channel. He's a kicker, and he finally got his opportunity last year being a part of the UFL, but he broke his neck, and now this year he's back as a starting kicker for one of these UFL teams. I think it's not the Birmingham Stallions.
It is the
San Antonio
Brahmas.
The San Antonio Brahmas. He's their starting kicker, so it's a great opportunity for a lot of people to keep their football dreams alive and possibly get another chance at the NFL. I love it.
I've been very excited because honestly, you see some of those players, you're like, wait, like you guys are still playing, but it just gives it light. And then really like I think Max Duggan's in there, and that's the one guy I'm actually really excited on because Max Duggan was a dog in college, and I know he was drafted by the Chargers and then cut even before the season started. So it gives him, like you said, gives other people another chance to possibly get back into the NFL and you know live that dream, and just also for some other guys, maybe heck, you want to come out of retirement, go have fun, and you know just go play some ball. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think it's just a good way to have fun. There's a lot less pressure than there would be on the NFL, but you know, I mean,
Hey, man,
naturally,
they make some pretty decent money too.
exactly.
Well, they just had a whole thing about they just went into like a whole standoff and everything for the UFL and all that to wanting actually like all the stuff that the NFL gets. But hey, that's another topic for another day.
Yeah, another good opportunity to bring Judge Reed back. We haven't seen him in a while.
Hey, I like the idea there.
Yes. So I know we talked a little bit about tennis last week and the week before, how these teenagers are just coming in and they are dominating the previously well-known, like just all-around all-stars. And with the Miami Open, we also had the men's end of the game as well. And we saw Jacob Mensnick beat, like, two incredible tennis players. I mean, he beat Taylor Fritz in the semifinal and Djokovic in the final, which is crazy. He is 19 years old. He was born in 2005.
Yeah, he's younger than me.
Whoa.
Like, he's younger than all of us at this
It's crazy.
table.
It's
and
crazy.
he's beating these Hall of Famer
He beat
tennis
Djokovic.
players.
Yeah, but let's
Right.
say, yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
He beat him 7-7. Well, beat him in 2 sets and also beat him in tiebreakers in those 2 sets, which
It's incredible.
it's crazy.
The young phenoms that have been rising to the top of tennis this past year even. I mean, there's been young phenoms, of course, but over this past year, we've been talking about them. It seems like every single Sports Pack episode, there's somebody new shaking up the tennis landscape. And the fact that this 19-year-old, this dude was born in 2005. This dude is younger than me. Now, I'm pretty young. I like to pride myself being a little young. I mean, the facial hair might make me think I'm a little older, but I mean, I'm just 20. I was born in 2004, October that is. And this guy is 19 years old and beat Novak Djokovic in a tennis match. Dude, it's incredible. The sport of tennis is amazing. Kyle, you still can't see me in tennis, but nonetheless, tennis is an amazing sport, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we got for sports news right now, but stay tuned. We're going to take a quick ad break, but when we get back, we're going to dive into this March Madness tournament, recap the Elite Eight and the Sweet 16 from this past weekend, and talk about what teams we feel are the most dangerous going into the Final Four. You won't want to miss it. This is Sports Pack on Wolf Sports Network.
You are listening to Sports Pack here on Wolf Sports Network, your home for all things UWG athletics.
Hey, do you want to be a part of Wolf Sports Network? Yeah! Well, I have some good news for you because you can join us. Woohoo! So if you want to learn more about this, go to wolfsportsnetwork.com and click WIT Sports Program. With becoming a WIT, you expand your knowledge in the sports radio world and join our ever-growing family.
New face over there, you're not tripping. We got my guy JT over here shadowing the board. He's running through a WIT program right now. Brandon, how you feeling, baby? Welcome to Sports
I'm feeling
Pack.
great being on here for the first time.
And we can't wait to meet you once you join us.
Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio are coming together for the concert event of the year. Wolfstock, baby! That's right, Wolfstock is back with great music and fun games and a great time for everyone around. April 21st, 6 to 9 in the Campus Center Ballroom. So come out for a good time. Wolfstock 2025 is brought to you by Flagship Carrollton, Dine West, The Orchard, Illuminated Productions, and American Pie Pizzeria.
It's time to introduce Wolf Sports Network's newest show, The Playbook. Your home for college football, baseball, and basketball. And just like VCU in 2011, we're set to make a Cinderella run to the top of a Wolf Sports Network.
The Rams are going to the Final Four!
Tune in live every Tuesday from 6 to 7 on Wolf Sports Network.
Wolf Sports Network is going to have you covered with content for every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Sports Pack is bringing you all the news in the sports world today on Mondays and Thursdays at 6. Sports Out of Pocket is bringing you sports commentary with a comedic twist on Wednesdays at 5. And sit back and relax and grab your favorite snack because Triple Threat is bringing you the chill content on Fridays at 11. And The Playbook is going to be bringing you all of the sports news going on in the college world on Tuesdays at 6. So make sure you're tuning in Monday through Friday for all the content Wolf Sports Network is bringing you this semester.
College students who binge drink alcohol at least 3 times per week were roughly 6 times more likely to perform poorly on a test or project as a result of drinking. That insane stat is why the Crafty Rabbit Meadery has joined Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign to remind students that drinking should be done responsibly and in an environment that discourages overindulging. Faculty will not take hangovers as excuses.
The Dodgers introducing Shohei Ohtani.
Suggs for the win!
Let's talk some college hoops. Yes, sir. It's okay, John. I know you're excited to talk about some MLB, but we got to talk some college basketball first.
Look, put it this way: the hotkeys a little different today, so I thought it's been in the same spot for the past month.
It's all good,
so
bro.
it's like it's clockwork.
Hey, we're still trying to come back from spring break. It's fine.
Hey, look.
It happens. We make mistakes, right?
Hey,
We're human.
look,
We're human.
Nobody's perfect. Even I make mistakes.
There we go.
Contrary to popular belief, even I can make mistakes. So it's okay. We're going to talk about some MLB later, but we got to get into this college basketball right now because this March Madness weekend has been insane as we are down to our final 4 teams, and believe it or not, all 4 of the teams remaining are number 1 seeds. The number 1 ranked Auburn Tigers will be taking on the number 1 ranked Florida Gators April 5th at 6 p.m. And the number 1 ranked Duke Blue Devils will be taking on the number 1 seeded Houston Cougars on April 5th as well at 8:59 p.m. It's going to be incredible. And it's a very rare sight. It's been I want to say since 2015 or 16 since we've seen a bracket end up with all number 1 seeds in the Final Four. I can't remember the exact year.
2008.
2008. So I was being a little generous. It's been a very long time since we've seen it. And a lot of people aren't really happy about it. They're like, well, man, anybody could have picked the favorites to win this. But that's not true because that doesn't hardly ever happen. Like y'all just said, it's been since 2008 since we've seen something like this happen. And like I said a couple of sports packs ago, This is part of what makes the March Madness tournament so beautiful. You have no idea what you're going to get. This is the first year I've ever tried to predict Cinderella teams, and it's the worst bracket I've ever had. Because this is the one year where we didn't have a true Cinderella. Of course, the one year I decided to pick some Cinderella teams, make deep runs, we end up with 4 1 seeds in the Final Four. I mean, it's incredible, man. That's what makes March Madness so beautiful. You never know what's going to happen. Now, next year, we might have 4 16 seeds in here. I mean, there's really no telling what may happen. But moving forward, let's talk about these teams so far. So, as I said, we got Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston. I want to open up the floor. Who do you all think is the most dangerous team in this remaining Final Four?
I'm gonna go Florida, man. Florida just looks dangerous, bro. Like
Florida.
The reason why I say that, like, if you're watching that Texas Tech game, Florida was down by 10 with how many minutes left? Like under 10 minutes to go in that game.
It was about 6 minutes left. They were
about 6 minutes left.
Yeah. They went on an 18-4 run in the last 2 minutes.
Right.
Crazy.
And their depth is just what makes them dangerous. I mean, Walter Clayton Jr. put him over the top in that game, and he had, I think, all of his 3 threes he hit that game came down the stretch.
Unreal shots.
Came down the stretch. So Walter Clayton Jr. shout out to him, but Florida. I can see them winning it all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Florida's a really dangerous team this year.
So if you had to pick right now, would you pick the Florida Gators to win it all?
Yes.
Oh, like no doubt in your mind. I know John right here is pretty high on Duke.
I mean, it's
Whoa,
some doubt.
no,
you're high on Florida.
Yeah, I got Florida as my champion.
Oh wow, so you agree?
Yeah, I've had since the SEC tournament. You know, Florida really wowed me. I mean, other than Walter Clayton Jr. absolutely balling. He's dropping 30. I mean, you see like a guy like Alex Condon and like how tall that guy is. He's young. That's one thing I've learned. He's a younger guy and he's learning a lot about the game. But he's able to he's kind of like really quick on his feet with how he makes his decisions, and he will just make some surprise plays. And also at the same time with his height, you're able to use that. He's able to get the defensive rebounds, the offensive rebounds, and it really helps him there as well. Because once you get that offensive rebound, boom, dish it back out to Clayton, and you drop another 3 right there.
That's dangerous, bro. Like him and Thomas.
I'm telling you,
like they're just big. Like
make the wall right.
They get offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds. They're dangerous, man. So yeah. And
I'm honestly not too mad about that pick. I understand it. I mean, you got guys like Will Richard and Elijah Martin as well, guys that can explode offensively for you and really get some tough buckets. They got a good team, and like y'all are saying, Walter Clayton has been taking over these tournament games so far in the key moments. It's very interesting to see. And one last point about Florida. Elijah Martin, the player I just mentioned, he is the only player in NCAA history to make the Final Four with 2 separate teams. A couple years ago, he made it with FAU, Florida Atlantic, and now he's on the Florida Gators doing it again.
That is crazy. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. But now, Carly, I know you're not on the same page as them. You might have considered Florida for grad school, but I know you got another team in mind that you feel is probably the most dangerous team still left out here.
Well, first off, I do want to propose the question to Lemon John.
Yeah.
Could you argue the team that wins, the Florida Auburn team, wins it all?
Ooh.
Yes.
I definitely think so.
Even if Auburn beats Florida.
Yeah, for sure.
Whoa.
So y'all are saying, okay, wait a minute. Let me sit in my chair. So what y'all are saying is that the winner of the Florida Auburn game will win the whole thing.
They could, yes. It's a very high chance of that happening. But hey, look,
Carly, you agree?
I just like
She's
to
only
pose
posed
the
the
question
question.
and
Posed the question.
get some debate up
what's
in
your
here.
answer to that?
Like,
Well, I mean, you know me. I'm an Auburn Tiger through and through and all the way through. So I'm picking Auburn to win. I mean, I think with Janai Broom, it is an incredible weapon, but they do need to make sure that their defense stays tight and that they stay tight on that backcourt as well. And if they can do that, I think Auburn has a really good chance of going all the way. And, of course, Auburn has that community. Like, they have their whole school. They have their whole community just backing them up. And I know other schools may have that too, but Auburn till I die.
Richard,
Now,
you got something to say, don't you?
I'm having some technical difficulties with my headphones right now, but that's not going to change the point I'm about to make. Forget the headphones. I don't need them. Now, look, I'm an SEC man through and through. Like I said, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the University of Georgia. My parents met out there in Athens in the Golden City. So I love the SEC. I love Southeastern Conference success. But to say, without a doubt, all three of you, that the winner of the Auburn-Florida game will win the national championship is nothing short of insane for me. Now, I understand, on paper, it's a 50-50 chance once you get past that game. You have a 50% chance to win it because there's only one other team in front of you. But when that team in front of you could be the Duke Blue Devils, the team that just beat the Alabama Crimson Tide by 20 this past weekend, I don't understand how you could just say, no doubt, the SEC could win it. I mean, they can win it, but just say that they can, no doubt, will win it is insane. Let me just
To be fair,
okay,
we've seen the last 2 seasons that Alabama crushes under pressure.
Right. But you know what else we've seen throughout the entire season? The Duke Blue Devils dominate top-tier opponents. And I do just want to mention the scores for this Alabama game. Now, I understand you're knocking Alabama, but you got Cooper Flagg, who everyone knows will be the number 1 overall draft pick. He dropped 16 against Alabama. You got Con Kneppel, a guy that he was a 5-star recruit. Probably were like, he'll probably do like 2 or 3 years here with Duke. Well, he's played his way into being a lottery pick this year. He dropped 21. And Tyrese Proctor, the sophomore sensation, dropping 17 points. And this isn't just like they just did against Alabama. They do this on the regular. This is a team that can have 4 or 5 players getting you 15 points. They're dominant and play great team defense. But I didn't forget about the other team now. I'm not just penciling them into the final either. Matter of fact, as I stand right now, I have Duke losing their Final Four game. And I have them losing to the Houston Cougars, the team that has the most experience of any other team in this tournament. Now, Auburn got some old dudes on there now. Auburn got some old dudes on that team. But Houston got some guys that have been around for a while. Kelvin Sampson, their head coach, has every time he brings a very tough team to the table. Tough defensively and tough offensively. They are good offensively they're great defensively every single year, But offensively this season, they have taken it to the next level. Did you know there are 3 men in Houston's starting lineup shooting over 41% from 3? LJ Cryer, Emmanuel Sharp, and Milos Uzan. Their top 3 scorers are all shooting over 40% from 3. And what they can do to people defensively, how they just decimated the Tennessee Volunteers, holding them to 15 points in the first half. Listen, I love Florida, and I love Auburn. And they very well may win the national championship. But when you got the Duke Blue Devils, one of the most complete teams in the nation, and then the Houston Cougars, without a doubt the best defensive team in the country, with shooters out the wazoo, I cannot just pencil one of those teams in as my national champion. I just can't do it. I just can't do it.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
That makes sense.
John?
Look, you brought a really good argument there. I mean, you're not wrong. At the end of the day, I mean, Duke and Houston's gonna be an absolute heck of a game to watch. Yes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very, very excited to watch for it. But and you're talking about, you said this Houston team is very experienced, right?
This Houston team is extremely experienced.
Yes.
Very experienced.
The one thing that I know about Houston, and maybe I could be thinking about another team, but aren't they really good with rebounding? Yes.
They are amazing
It's
offensive
because
rebounding.
of the drill that they do in practice where they put the cover over the basket and everything.
Yeah. They are great offensive and defensive rebounding, but especially getting second chance points offensively.
Yeah.
And their center's only 6'8", but he has an over 7 foot wingspan.
Now,
whoa.
Nate, don't get me wrong. Houston is a dangerous team. I can see Houston and Florida being in the championship, and Houston is gonna give Florida a run for their money. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
No, go ahead, Lim. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying Houston is a dangerous team, and I think that Duke Houston game is gonna be interesting. But Houston is, they stand out to me, but I'm still gonna go with what I said before.
You still standing with the SEC no matter what?
Yes.
So now, do you think that it's mainly because of matchups? Like if Florida had to face Houston in the final, you said you favor Florida. But what if Florida was facing off with Duke? Are you still saying Florida no matter what?
Yes, still Florida no matter what.
So,
because Florida, they just have more depth, and I just think they're gonna out rebound Duke in if they play in the final, if they play in the national championship. They just have depth, they have energy, they have Walter Clayton Jr. You know, I'm just gonna say Walter Clayton Jr. because he's just
big shot maker.
You can't do nothing with
him. The Duke Blue Devils have Cooper Flagg.
Yeah, they do.
What's your answer for Cooper Flagg? Con Kneppel and Tyrese Proctor.
They got players rotating in their lineup that can. Okay. They can throw bodies at Cooper Flagg, man. You know, so
I'm gonna let Lim do talking on this one.
I just took a peek behind the glass to my guy Daniel that's out here running the cameras for us. He was kind of squinting his eyes when Lim was talking just then. He was like, I don't know about that, Jim. And I don't know about that, Lim. I don't know how I'm feeling about that.
He also picked UConn to be his champion.
He did, and UConn put up a very good fight against the Florida Gators.
That's very true.
I just look at this Houston Cougars team, and I understand Florida's a great team. I picked them to win the whole thing in a couple of my brackets. But I also picked Houston, and that's for a very good reason. I feel like Houston is going to do something to Duke that we haven't seen anybody else do.
Smart, Rich.
It's going to be a very good game with the Duke Blue Devils against the Houston Cougars. But what Houston can do defensively is nothing shy of incredible. And when you see a lot of these teams, like we saw them in the tournament this year, St. John's, not Mississippi State, and Michigan State, teams that are very great defensively, but they can't consistently create for themselves offensively. Well, Houston can do that. Houston doesn't just rely on fast break and transition scoring to get their points. They can create offensively just as a standard offense while still matching that energy to the sub-10th degree defensively. I mean, they are nothing short of incredible. So when I look at Houston, I understand that y'all are saying the SEC could do this and could do that. Lim said Florida will win no matter what. I just cannot definitively crown a champion out of the SEC when the Houston Cougars are still floating around.
That's fair. That's very
I just
fair.
cannot do it. I just cannot do it. But you know what I can do? I can pivot into the NBA segment.
Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Baby, let's talk some NBA. All right, here we go. Now I'm having I'm having some headphone issues. I don't think they like me today. They just kind of disintegrated in the middle of the last segment.
That happened to me last semester.
But you know what? The show must go on, and the show will go on. It was a very, very entertaining night in the NBA last night with a whole lot of should I say spirited confrontations. I feel like that's the best way to put it because there were a lot of fights in the NBA last night. To put it very lightly, the first fight was with.
I thought I was watching MMA or something out there.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't compare it to MMA because MMA is very action packed. I compare it to that Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones exhibition. A lot of bouncing around, a lot of pushing, a little bit of hugging every now and again, but no real punches thrown. That's what I'd really say. And that took place in the Detroit Pistons and Minnesota Timberwolves game. A game that ended up having 7 ejections, but I did not see a single punch thrown. It was incredible. Typical NBA. John, when I walked into the studio earlier, you were looking at the videos from this confrontation. I was watching the
video of it last night.
Yeah, you were watching the video of it. So walk us through a little bit of this shoving match.
Well, so like at first it was kind of just like, the teams like you're gonna get gritty with each other. It's natural sport. You're gonna compete out there, right? But it just took at one point like they start kind of getting a little handsy with each other, but it ended up becoming down between. Who really took it over the top was Dante DiVincenzo, and at that point, 2 guys are about ready to fight, and all thing like I remember seeing is just DiVincenzo, that little redhead, come in and just put that elbow in there, and next thing you know, everyone clears the bench. Even coaches were clearing the bench along with the head coaches, try to get everyone and the people down the front row. You got a front row ticket to a seven player ejection fight, and it just ended up being a bunch of bantering and stuff. And as I'm just seeing it right here, DiVincenzo's about ready to pick him up and slam. I didn't see who it was. It was so quick. He's about ready to slam him on the ground. So
yeah, like I said, a big shoving match. You know how NBA fights are. Like I said, it was like watching Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson a few years back. It was just a big shoving match, a little bit of hugging in there, maybe even a kiss or two. I'm not really sure what happened. But 7 players got ejected nonetheless. There was also another big game. The Houston Rockets versus the Phoenix Suns. I think Dillon Brooks got ejected. A few other guys after a quick scuffle with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant ended up going down with an injury, severely sprained his ankle at the end of the game. I really feel like that's the last we're going to see of Kevin Durant for the Suns this season, and maybe even for the Suns, period. The Houston Rockets went on to win that game 148 to 109. And that perfectly segues into my next, might I even say my next great point. I feel like even though the Houston Rockets are currently sitting as the 2 seed in the West, they are still the most underrated team going into the playoffs this year. Yeah. They are nothing short of incredible. Big-time win against the Phoenix Suns last night. But you also have Jalen Green, who just won Western Conference Player of the Week this past week. They have an amazing head coach, arguably one of the best head coaches in the game, and a very deep team. They may not have a bona fide star just yet that a lot of people feel like they need to have, but they have a lot of very good players that complement each other well. Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., Dillon Brooks, Fred VanVleet, Agun Sagun. I mean, they have people all up and down that roster that can flat out ball. But I want to open it up to y'all. As we get closer and closer to the playoffs, as this March Madness tournament wraps up, who do you all feel is the most underrated or slept-on team going into the playoffs this NBA season?
That's a good question. Like from that Western Conference or just in general?
Just in general.
I say in general, I'm gonna go with Detroit. Detroit's been an interesting team.
Strong team.
Detroit's been an interesting team. I like how Cade
I
Cunningham.
think John was gonna say Detroit too.
Yeah,
really? Yeah.
Hey, look, Lynn, we must be on the same page tonight,
Yes,
right?
y'all are.
Yeah, like Cade Cunningham has really been. He's been playing ball this season. I like how he's playing. I like Denver. You know, Denver's interesting to me because we talked about an MVP conversation a few shows ago. Jokic is averaging a triple double, which is insane to me. It's insane to me. And they're third in the West behind the Houston Rockets. So in the Russell Westbrook, I think he complements Jokic well playing out there. So Denver is also another team that's underrated, and the Warriors. The Warriors is another team.
Kind of snuck up a little bit.
Jimmy Butler came
end.
over. Jimmy Butler came over there in Golden State, and they were on a win streak. You know what I'm saying? They've been winning a lot more games than they've been losing.
The Warriors have been very good since the addition to Jimmy Butler.
So, but yeah, those are my underrated teams that I'm looking for going into the playoffs. So yeah.
I mean, Lem, you said it for me for the Detroit Pistons. This year's got to be someone with me in Detroit because I love the Detroit Lions, but to see like the team like Detroit Pistons, kind of not they're the greatest team in the NBA right now, but still, they're having one heck of a season. Honestly, one thing I'm seeing is a guy like Malik Beasley, a seasoned veteran, kind of resurging his career just a little bit, and it's kind of been fun seeing Detroit just have success finally. I'm kind of just big on that. Once a city goes down for so long, but they go back up, I am very much a bandwagon person on that.
It's hard not to
Something
cheer for
like
those
that,
kind of
dude.
teams.
I will jump on the bandwagon sometimes.
Hey,
now the Lions, Dan Campbell wrote me into that. I ain't gonna lie.
Because when you see a team down for that long, it's hard not to root for them. Like how you said with the Detroit Lions, like what's happening right now with the Detroit Pistons. Even to go back to the NFL with the Washington Commanders, it was hard not to cheer for them after they had that great year. So I completely understand, John. When you see a team that's been down for so long finally have a lot of success and show some upside and big time potential with some young stars, it's hard not to cheer for them. Yeah. Carly, what team are you really buying into?
Well, like Lem was saying, there's so many teams in the Western Conference that could be just like underrated in terms. Just looking based off of their win-loss streaks, like they are very neck and neck in terms of how many teams this team has won and the next team right below them has won.
It's
but
a really tight race.
if we go in and we look at the Eastern Conference too, it's a little bit more. There's some more gaps. You have teams that, you have the Cavaliers with 60 wins, and then the second one below them is the Celtics with 5 less wins. But I think a team that I really like is going to be in the Eastern Conference. It's the Indiana Pacers.
All right.
I think last year they had a little bit of a Cinderella story, and I think they could have the potential to run it back again this year if a lot of their star players can stay healthy when it matters. I think they could really just sneak up on these teams.
The Pacers are really interesting because they're a team that can just flat out score. Their defense kind of scares me at times, but I'm with you, Carly. Because a lot of people have really chalked up the Eastern Conference to be either the Cavaliers or the Boston Celtics.
Right.
But the Cavaliers have shown that they can still lose games. They haven't been the hottest these last 5 to 8 games they've been playing. They've been dropping some games, and I'm pretty sure one of those games, correct me if I'm wrong, was to the Indiana Pacers. So I understand it. They made the Eastern Conference Finals last year. It can definitely happen. I'm still all in on Houston, but if there is going to be a team in the East that can shake up that Boston and Cleveland Tea Party, it could be the Pacers. I was leaning towards the Bucks originally, but now that Damian Lillard's going down, I'm not really sure what to think of them. So I don't know too much. I don't really know about the Eastern Conference. It's going to take a big-time team with some big-time players to step up. So why not Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers? I guess only time will tell.
All right.
Now, excuse me. Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We are collecting new and gently used books for every pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting wolfradio.com/bookdrive. That is wolfradio.com/bookdrive. Every Wednesday is Fried Chicken Wednesday at West Commons Dining Hall. Faculty and staff can now get their own meal plans by visiting westga.edu/dinewest. Follow Dine West on Instagram at UWG_Dine_West for all special events and updates. Now, stay tuned because you do not want to miss this discussion we are about to have. We're going to talk about the MLB Torpedo bats. If you don't know what that is, stay tuned to find out. It's a very hot topic in the MLB and the sports world. Stay tuned. This is Sports Pack on Wolf Sports Network.
You are listening to Sports Pack every Mondays and Thursdays from 6 to 7, only on Wolf Sports Network. Hey, do you want to be a part of Wolf Sports Network?
Yeah!
Well, I have some good news for you because you can join us. So if you want to learn more about this, go to wolfsportsnetwork.com and click WIT Sports Program. With becoming a WIT, you expand your knowledge in the sports radio world and join our ever-growing family.
New face over there, you're not tripping. We got my guy JT over here shadowing the board. He's running through a WIT program right now. Brandon, how you feeling, baby? Welcome to Sports
I'm feeling
Pack.
great being on here for the first time.
And we can't wait to meet you once you join us.
Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are bringing you Wolf Stock 2025 with great performances from Bliss, The Ties That Bind, and Eva Rose and David Pippin. Wolf Stock 2025 is brought to you by Flagship Carrollton, Dine West, The Orchard, Illuminated Productions, and American Pie Pizzeria. So don't miss out on the concert event of the year, April 21st from 6 to 9 p.m. in the Campus Center Ballroom. Sports fans, are you looking for a show where you can see other sports fans sharing in your misery and excitement? Then Sports Out of Pocket is for you, because we're fans too, and we experience our highs.
Super Dejean is not a safety. He's just a corner who will lock down your number one.
And our lows.
Trayshawn Ward.
Screw you, buddy. You were on our team last year, and you gave us no mercy, okay?
So join us every Wednesday at 5 to cheer and boo along with us, only on Wolf Sports Network. Wolf Sports Network is going to have you covered with content for every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Sports Pack is bringing you all the news in the sports world today on Mondays and Thursdays at 6. Sports Out of Pocket is bringing you sports commentary with a comedic twist on Wednesdays at 5. And sit back and relax and grab your favorite snack, because Triple Threat is bringing you the chill content on Fridays at 11. And the Playbook is going to be bringing you all of the sports news going on in the college world on Tuesdays at 6. So make sure you're tuning in Monday through Friday for all the content Wolf Sports Network is bringing you this semester.
In a recent survey, almost 53% of full-time college students ages 18 to 22 drank alcohol in the past month. That is why the Crafty Rabbit Meadery has joined Wolf Sports Network and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign, reminding you there is no drinking under the age of 21, to never drink and drive even if it's only one beer, and to add food and water when you drink so you don't end up texting your ex, which means know your limits. Now let's go ahead and jump straight into it with a brief history lesson.
Yep.
What is a torpedo bat? It's a term that's been thrown around in the sports world this entire weekend, a lot today. It's been debated a lot today as well, even in the hallways here at Wolf Sports Network. And I've mentioned it a time or a dozen here on Sports Pack so far. So let me tell you the history of the torpedo bat. So, over the past 10 years or so, pitching has really been taken up a notch in the MLB. And players have gotten very frustrated because of how good pitching has gotten. It slowed the game down. Obviously, it's made the game a little more boring because there's been less scoring because defense is getting better and better with pitchers coming up with new pitches every other day, it feels like. So an MIT-educated physics professor at the University of Michigan left academics for athletics. He loves sports, and he is looking to solve these sorts of problems. How can we kind of tilt the odds back in the favor of the batter a little bit? So, as he began to work with different athletes in the sport of baseball, working on different frameworks, the solution became very clear. The easiest way to kind of fix offense in baseball, make things a little easier for hitters, was to make the point of contact larger and increase the size of the barrel of the bat. And that is exactly what the torpedo bat is. It takes a little bit off the, let me use this to demonstrate this remote. So you got the barrel of the bat here. The sweet spot is typically from this point all the way up to the end of the bat. That's the barrel. You want to catch the barrel here. But if you catch the very end of the bat, you're not going to get great contact. So how about we move the barrel down a little more? That way you don't have to worry about the tip of the bat, and the sweet spot is just this middle section. Now, wherever you hit in that sweet spot, you will get solid contact no matter what. Famously this weekend, the New York Yankees had a number of batters, one including MLB superstar Jazz Chisholm, don the torpedo bat in their debut. Now, other people around the MLB have been using it, but the Yankees have the largest amount of people using it, and they're probably the largest brand in baseball right there with the Dodgers, but historically they're the largest brand, so attention has been shined on them for using it. A lot of people have varying opinions on it because how successful the Yankees have been in this 3-game serving size. So now that I've gave you a quick history lesson, I want to open up the floor. Michael, Thank you for hopping on the show today. I like your landmark baseball shirt, showing that you are indeed one of our baseball experts here at Wolf Sports Network. Walk us through your feelings on the Torpedo bat.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it at all. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. Like, the biggest thing about it is that this has been happening in baseball forever. Like, my favorite player is Chipper Jones, and he was on ESPN a couple years ago talking about how he liked his bat to be more like heavier towards the end of the barrel and lighter up here. So like this is not a new thing. What's different about this is the fact that they're able to use all the new metrics that they have to, like, for Anthony Volpe. His bat is a little bit different than Jazz Chisholm's barrel because he makes more. They figured out that he makes more contact towards the middle of the bat,
right?
And so his middle is larger than it is down here, and that's why this is kind of, I think, a little bit different, is because you can use player specific, like ultra specific stats to make the bat different,
right?
But this is like no different than a fielder, like an infielder making his glove a certain way, which has been allowed for a long time. Like this is. I think the other overreaction here is because of the runs they scored this weekend, but I think that's more of a Brewers pitching staff problem than
Exactly. I see the exact same way. A lot of people are outraged because, oh my gosh, they were super successful. They wouldn't have scored that many runs if it wasn't for those bats. Well, how do you know that? You still have to be able to hit the baseball at least decently well to make contact with this bat. If you give me that bat and throw me, well, I might get a hit. Let me throw somebody else under the bus. If you give John that bat and throw him out there in front of the Brewers pitching staff, he's not gonna have a different result just because of that bat. So like you were saying, Michael, I mean, they would have been successful anyway. They just so happened to change their bat for this series. John?
I mean, look, I'm not mad of it. I've told y'all about it today, and I'm just like, it's like you hire people to do these things. You hire people to exploit these everything in the rules, kind of find a loophole. It's a huge thing in F1 you can go back to things for people who know, for double diffusers or the DAS system. People find these rules and then they make it to where it's legal within the system, and once you have it to your advantage, use it. If it's deemed legal, there's nothing wrong with it. You may not like it, but guess what? It's a sport. People are going to be competitive. People are going to find the way to be better. That's what you do. You compete. You try to be better than everyone else, and it's simple as that. I don't see a problem with it. And honestly, a ton of teams right now, the Braves just put in a huge order for them.
A lot of teams around the MLB are putting in orders for these bats. And I love what you just said, John. In sports, you are looking for the competitive advantage so you can win. And like you're saying, Michael, why not cater it towards your skill set? Why just have the same cookie cutter bat for every single guy when every guy doesn't swing the bat the same way? Like the player who's the player you just mentioned again, Michael?
Anthony Volpe.
So if you got a guy like him, you said he makes a lot of his contact inside on the bat, so not as much on the end. So let's move the barrel down right there. You typically make all your contact there. Now you're catching more barrel. It makes a lot of sense to me. As long as it's not against the rules, which it is not. It's been verified by all the legal. Exactly. It's been deemed legal. The people that came up with this, the very smart minds that came together to fix this issue, to fix offense in baseball, they made sure whatever they did was within the rules. It is within the rules. I see absolutely nothing wrong with it. Continue to play to your skill set.
Yeah, and I don't think the argument that a lot of people have had is like, well, just because it's legal now doesn't mean that it's right. And I think the biggest problem with that argument is that's like saying we can't use different size bats. Like some guys are shorter than other people and you need a different size bat for that. It's also no different in high school. You have these high school baseball players that are using different types of bats, different brands of bats to best suit them and how they play.
Right.
So I don't think this is any different, and if it's within regulation, I think it's fine.
Exactly. As long as you're not breaking the rules, keep playing the game. It's like with the tush push in the NFL. The tush push is a legal play to use. Everybody can't do it, but the Eagles are very successful at doing it. So until you make us stop, we're going to keep doing it. I see absolutely nothing wrong with it as long as it is within the rules. Now, if this season goes on and the Yankees end up batting 600 on the year, all right, now, okay, let's maybe dial it back a little bit. These bats are a little too overpowered. Let's deem them illegal. But baseball is a game of averages. It's also a game of failure. So people are still going to strike out despite using these bats. Jazz Chisholm isn't going to go out and hit 2 home runs every game this season just because he's using a new bat. It's not going to happen. So we're going to see how it goes. If they're deemed illegal by the end of the season, so be it. But as of right now, it is a legal thing to do. A lot of teams around the MLB are putting in big-time orders to try them out. I say let them swing away.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with trying it out. And also, I think even when we saw with the tush push, too, like, the reason why people are so... like, people debate about these things is because people are being so successful because of it. Like, it's not your fault that your team hasn't been able to figure out how to make it successful. So that's my take on it.
Just because your team ain't doing it doesn't mean it's wrong. Look, like you said, the Braves is putting a big time order. The Braves got bigger problems than buying new bats right now. Can you walk us through a little bit?
Just about 30 minutes ago, Jurickson Profar gets an 80-game ban for PED violations.
80 games?
Yep, after we just signed him to a 3-year contract, free agency, had a heck of a season last year, looking to be a superstar. Heck, he was our leadoff guy. And then while we're at it as well is, Michael and I know as our group chat's blowing up for WSN, Reynaldo Lopez, one of our starting pitchers on the IL. Who do we got to call up? Bryce flippin' Elder. I don't like him. I don't know why we keep him in our organization, but it's just everything happens for the Braves. But in good news, Sean Murphy's at least for starting his recovery journey in Rome right now. So that's as much as I know for the Braves.
Michael, how you feel about all these Braves things going on?
This has been a day from hell. This is so bad. I mean, and
could have said it better, dude.
Like the other thing for the Profar thing is like he'll be back towards the All-Star break. He can't play in the postseason though. If you get suspended for PEDs, you're banned from the postseason. So
wow. See, I didn't even know that.
That's the worst.
I didn't even know that either.
Oh, that sucks.
The good thing is like you'll get Ronald back in May or probably around May. Which when that happens, you'll have your opening day lineup from last year back, which is at least one positive. But
and
it just sucks
Verdugo at least.
Yeah, we do have Alex Verdugo on the bench, or you can call him up. I mean, it's good for Jared Kelenic. He's going to have some time to try and stick himself here, but it's tough because you knew looking at the lineup before the season, if you had Profar mixed in with that top 5, that's so lethal. And now
so dangerous. So deadly with a healthy Acuna, it could have been incredible.
Yeah.
Now, man, we're gonna see what happens. Like you said, Michael, it has been a nightmare start for the Braves so far. We will see how this season goes because, as we all know, it's a very long baseball season and things can change just like that. But also, just like that, that's all the time we got for Sports Pack today. I want to thank you all for tuning in. We will be live again this Thursday. Same crew, but we will also have Schrader back on the show on Thursday joining us. You do not want to miss out. We're going to be making our Final 4 picks and a whole lot more. You don't want to miss it. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Richard Reed for Carly Pear, John Howley, Michael, Lim, Jackson. Feel better. We'll see you on Thursday. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a blessed night.